Hey guys, this is Nia Adenusi. It's that time again where the year comes to a close and I give out my full thoughts on it, what happened, what I liked, and what I hated about it. In this video, I'm going to talk about my full thoughts on 2024. Like in my 2023 review, I will head into much detail so that the video goes over the 20-minute mark, unlike my reviews on 2021 and 2022. Before I start, you may notice that instead of the usual white background with my current profile picture on the left and the name of the year on the right, similar to my Extreme Rant series from 2018 to 2020, I used a different screen for this video, a space background with the name of the video in glowing letters. I consider the white background for my year reviews and Extreme Rants to be plain and overused nowadays. Also, instead of the text-to-speech voice Eric, I am using my real voice for this review because TTS voices make too many mispronunciations. When writing the scripts of my year reviews, I would have to purposefully misspell words so that the Eric voice would pronounce them correctly. On top of that, the website I use for the Eric voice always excludes ampersands when the text is converted to speech. With that being said, let's start. Unlike on New Year's Eve from 2019 through 2022, I didn't watch a movie. I was going to rewatch Nimona, but I didn't. January was still nothing special, but on New Year's Day, I got sick due to the cold weather. I tried turning on the fireplace and taking a hot shower. That evening, after having food from Taco Bell, I went to my room, turned on my TV, and tuned into KLCS to watch Maya and Miguel. Then, for the first time since 2017, I think, I legit threw up. No joke. Because I got sick, I decided to mostly stay indoors until the end of winter. On January 18th, I got Inside Out on Blu-ray to prepare for Inside Out 2. On the 30th, I played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in my school's gym again. On February 6th, I got a new 4K TV to replace the one I got back in November 2017, and I spent hours trying to set it up. The TV had Disney Plus, so I was finally able to access the service again. The first movie I watched on the new TV was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Then, I watched Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Soul, Luca, Monsters University, and Onward. That month, I also watched many Pixar shorts. On February 24th, I went to a baby shower. Before going, I watched some episodes of Harvey Goes Forever, which I began watching in August last year. During this time, my friend Javier Corona Lopez was facing problems in relation to school, so he had less time to talk to me. He also took a break from uploading videos on YouTube because of it. Then came the end of an era. On the night of March 8th, I was in my living room and the display on my set-top box suddenly shut off, so I turned it back on and I was hit with...
We have detected an issue with poor or no video signal on your set-top box.
The next morning, I went downstairs, turned on the box, and got the same message. I realized that cable was out for the entire house. I thought my cable boxes were having technical problems, but it turned out to be something even worse. My cable had been disconnected permanently to save money, marking the end of my time with cable after many years. I had so many great memories with cable, like watching Nick Jr., Disney Jr., and Sprout when I was a child, watching the Powerpuff Girls movie for the first time on Boomerang in 2015, watching SpongeBob all throughout 2015, watching the latest episodes of Little Charmers on Nick Jr. every night starting from the day the show premiered, watching Shimmer and Shine when it premiered on Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. simultaneously on August 24th, 2015, and watching Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer for the first time on Disney Channel on July 9th, 2016. The now disabled boxes had to be replaced with Amazon Fire Sticks, and on those devices is an IPTV service called Global Choice Media. The first program I watched on the app was the 96 Academy Awards. I found GCM to be a suitable replacement at first since I can now access channels from around the globe, hence the name, but over time I started to gradually dislike the app. It has too many problems like no closed captions, load times, useless radio and record buttons, lagging, and channels going offline. Also, when I go to support in the settings, what do I get? Jack! You can tell by that alone that the app is not official. The app also doesn't have KLCS or KVCR, so I haven't seen a single episode of Maya and Miguel since, including my favorite episode of the show, Surprise Surprise. I know people have uploaded episodes of the show to YouTube, but I prefer to watch the show on TV instead. On February 10th, shortly after I got my new TV, I heard my mom's plans to contact my service provider to cancel cable, and that really concerned me. My fear came true a month later. Also, KABC, the Los Angeles affiliate of ABC, has been down since the beginning of September. Before the dreaded channel offline screen appeared, I tried to watch KABC only to get an error message which I think said the current program is unavailable for streaming. Judging by the timing, it probably has something to do with the carriage dispute involving DirecTV's contract with Disney. Some channels like Teen Nick and the Western feeds of Nickelodeon and Disney XD have been unavailable since I switched to the app, and there have been many instances where I was just watching a channel and then it suddenly goes offline. When I was watching a new episode of Monster High on March 26, the channel went offline during the first commercial break. On December 7, Disney Junior re-aired Olaf's Frozen Adventure, so I tuned into the channel on GCM to re-watch it. The video kept loading, and just as the short was about to begin, so I had to watch it on an IPTV website instead. Also, why the hell does this app have Pornhub? I hate Global Choice Media, and it's so inferior to cable in many ways. On March 22nd, I watched the Casagrandes movie on Netflix. It was a great movie, and it was better than the Loud House movie, which I haven't rewatched since July 2022, and I don't plan to rewatch it anytime soon, especially since I don't like the newer episodes of the show. On March 23rd, I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 in theaters. Everyone trashed that movie, but I thought it was good. Not great, but good. If you didn't like Kung Fu Panda 4, don't expect Shrek 5 to be good either, because DreamWorks is not consistent. My spring break began on March 25th. Nothing much happened over April. On the 19th, Migration came to Peacock and I watched it. I gave it an 8 out of 10, but then my rating declined gradually to a 6. Nothing interesting goes on in the movie, and it suffers the same problems as most of Illumination's other movies, like a thin story and lack of character growth. The movie also made me lose interest in Illumination. They don't have what it takes to tell a compelling story, and their movies almost always lack character development. I was looking forward to this movie. Hearing how the movie was said to have more depth than most of Illumination's output got my hopes up, and I wanted it to get a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than what it got, but it turns out that my expectations were too high because it's freaking Illumination! They only get creative with their marketing and not their movies. The only Illumination movies I've seen in theaters are either in the Despicable Me franchise or based on the Mario franchise. The only future Illumination movie I will see in theaters is the Mario movie sequel. Minions 3, forget that. I wanted to see Despicable Me 4, but I couldn't due to personal reasons. More on that movie later. On April 28th, I went to John's Incredible Pizza for the first time since July 28th, 2022. Like last year, nothing much happened in May, except for me getting the 3rd and 4th seasons of SpongeBob on the 18th after a 4-month physical media hiatus. After an agonizing year of school, my summer break began on June 4th, and my school year overall sucked. I had plans to see Inside Out 2, go to the beach, and an ice cream place I got a coupon for at school. Now, let's get into the highlight of the year for me, my anticipation for Inside Out 2. When the official trailer for the movie came out on March 7, I got even more excited for the movie. It was easily my most anticipated movie of the year. To prepare for Inside Out 2, I recorded TV spots and the McDonald's Happy Meal commercial. I also watched every Pixar movie released this decade leading up to Inside Out 2, from Onward to Elemental. I watched Onward and Soul on the 10th, Luca and Turning Red on the 11th, and Lightyear and Elemental on the 12th, as well as the first Inside Out on June 13th. While I was watching Elemental, I found out that Inside Out 2 got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, lower than I anticipated, so I feared that it would go down from there. On June 14th, it was my 17th birthday, Inside Out 2 was finally out, and I went to Pechanga Resort. It was my second time going there after July 10th, 2019. At the resort, I went to the pool. One of the TVs there was showing a sports program and an advertisement for Inside Out 2 appeared at the bottom of the screen. Back in my hotel room, I ate food from El Pollo Loco that I got that afternoon and watched some episodes of Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi on my phone. After leaving Pachanga on June 15th, I stopped at IHOP to get breakfast and then I went to an AMC theater in Temecula to see Inside Out 2. There were a lot of people at my screening of the movie. After seeing the movie, I loved it. It is one of Pixar's best sequels they have made and much more of a worthy sequel than Toy Story 5. It is the first movie I saw at a movie theater other than Harkins. When I saw the movie, I also got real D3D glasses for me to keep. The day I saw the movie was the best day of my summer break. The movie became a major box office success with $1.6 billion at the box office, making it the highest grossing animated movie of all time, an achievement that was well deserved. It was what Pixar needed after entering a slump with Lightyear. Later that month, I started working on a history video about my show The Adventures of Omni and Javier, but then something happened that made me temporarily halt production on it. After fighting the summer heat and an idiotic video editor, I finally got the video done and premiered it on July 25th. Then, on June 29th, I went to Las Vegas. As I usually do, I brought along my portable DVD player and watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse on the way there. During my trip, I also watched Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer and every episode of the third season of SpongeBob. I went to the buffet for breakfast, went to the fun dungeon, went for a swim, went to M&M's World, went on a roller coaster, and got food from Subway. I also watched the premiere of Soul on Freeform and ate at a restaurant twice. On my way back home on July 2nd, I watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and Inside Out. So what did I think of my trip? It was shit, and I'd rather not explain why. Sorry if I sound harsh, but after my last trip to Las Vegas, I don't ever want to go on another trip to that place with my family again. My trip to Las Vegas in December 2023 was better. On July 6th, I went to a birthday party. On the 11th, I watched the Garfield movie online. At first, I thought it was okay, but now I think it's mid. It felt soulless and unfaithful to the source material, like the people behind the movie barely cared about it. All that marketing for a movie that isn't even good? On the 13th, I watched the annual Kids' Choice Awards. Before the premiere, I watched the premiere of Hotel Transylvania Transformania on Nickelodeon. When I first watched the movie in 2022, I liked it, but now I think it sucks. They butchered Dracula and Johnny, and the animation is trash. It's colorful, but way too over the top with its character movements. Why does a movie with so many animators have animation of such poor quality? The movie was made obviously for money and nothing more. It doesn't even feel like a post-2018 Sony Pictures animation movie. How could they go from making the masterpieces known as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and The Mitchells vs. the Machines to this crap? I am also not excited for the upcoming series Motel Transylvania. K-Pop Demon Hunters, another Netflix project from Sony Animation scheduled for next year, will be so much better. If they make a Hotel Transylvania 5, I'm done with Sony, no joke. I guess Adam Sandler quit voicing Dracula after the third movie because even he knew when enough was enough. Thankfully, after this, we got Across the Spider-Verse, which is far better and also won the Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Animated Movie. On July 20th, I went to 2 birthday parties. At that point, my summer break had been underwhelming. I still hadn't gone to the beach or that ice cream place. I never got to go there before my coupon expired on August 31st. Nothing else fun happened during my break after that. On July 31st, I made a brief return to Encyclopedia SpongeBobia to announce on the Wiki's forum that I would finally be retiring from the Wiki on August 2nd. I have now moved on to my new favorite wiki, the Audiovisual Identity Database. As I said in my 2023 review, I may not be a fan of ESB anymore, but it's for sure better than the stupid, awful, trashy, dumb, annoying Disney wiki, the worst wiki ever made. I also began watching Totally Spies on June 9th. I watched episodes on the show's official YouTube channel nightly. Before seeing Inside Out 2, I watched the first 6 episodes. I enjoyed the show, but by the beginning of August, it was no longer appealing to me. I took a break from the show on August 5th after finishing Season 3. I went back to the show on September 7th to watch the Season 4 premiere, but when I got to Episode 2, I quit. I stopped watching the show prematurely for 3 reasons. It's repetitive, the humor is dumb, and it has nonsensical moments. I was losing interest, so I had to move on from the show. I planned to watch the Totally Spies movie after finishing the 6th season, but since I no longer watch the show, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm also not gonna bother watching the spin-off, The Amazing Spies, because I bet it has the same problems. But I will still watch Season 7 of Totally Spies when it premieres on Cartoon Network in the US, skipping the rest of Season 4 and the entirety of Seasons 5 and 6. For more details, read my community post on the show. My summer break ended on August 13th. In August, I watched 9 Blue Sky movies. I got in the mood to rewatch the studio's movies after watching the end credits of all of them earlier that month. I watched the Peanuts movie, Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Spies in Disguise, Rio, Ice Age The Meltdown, Epic, Fernand, Ice Age Continental Drift, and Robots, as well as both of the Ice Age TV specials and Scrat Tales. On August 23rd, I went to the Orange Cello Dance at school. I shared a bit of my experience with my friend Javier. Unlike last year, there was no game truck. Not much happened in September, but I did watch every episode of The Ghost and Molly McGee on Disney Plus from the first day to the 21st. I also unsubscribed from Lambo Rock Strikes Back because of how repetitive he is. I know this is in the past, but in July 2019, Lambo posted his worst rant yet, his rants on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. He screamed at the top of his lungs about how much he hated the movie and continued trashing the movie in later videos like his second and third reviews on Frozen and his reaction to the second trailer for The Mitchells vs. the Machines. In March 2020, he began his Peppa Pig Unrated series. I used to watch it, but now I don't because Lambo tended to get really annoying in that series, talking way too much about the Sonic movie like,
Sonic movie saved my childhood from the dreadful first trailer.
Note, I'll keep my 2 playlists, Peppa Pig Unrated episodes with ads at the end, and Peppa Pig Unrated birthday episodes. Later in 2020, he watched Scoob and trashed it constantly, calling it boring and a waste of his time, and it made me almost done with him. Lambo also talks too much about users he hates. He would constantly jab at Trolls Band Together Fan 2001 for quote-unquote comedy purposes. After Trolls Band Together Fan 2001 got terminated, Lambo moved on from him and started making fun of Frozen Wish Studios instead, despite what he said about him not being a user he would make fun of. In episode 59 of Off Topic Stuff, when he talked about the scene in the Simpsons movie where Homer dumped a silo in the lake, Lambo joked that he would do the same to Frozen Wish Studios. That was the final straw. I used to like Lambo Rock Strikes Back, but his desire to dunk on users he hates made me lose interest in him, and now I think he's just an annoying British YouTuber who can't keep his mouth shut about his least favorite users. Speaking of Frozen Wish, I unsubscribed from him as well on October 4th because of his toxic behavior. Lambo cut ties with Frozen Wish in early August, so in retaliation, Frozen Wish called out Lambo for quote-unquote having a terrible taste in movies, cussed him out for not liking Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and calling 3 upcoming MCU sequels unnecessary, and made a message video to his haters, which was just a clip from Deadpool and Wolverine. He's also an opinion basher. In his Disney vs. Illumination video, he cussed out people who think Wish's animation is bad. In his Emoji Movie rant, he said that the movie should be hated by everyone in the whole world and that anyone who likes the movie needs help. He shared a poll from Knox Michelson and gave the middle finger emoji to people who chose Maxime Lamal from Despicable Me 4 over King Magnifico from Wish. Also, he can't handle constructive criticism, so he removes comments that give him that. He's not worth subscribing to for his actions. On September 14th, after another physical media hiatus, I got Inside Out 2 on Blu-ray. I am currently having a frustrating problem with my Blu-ray discs where they keep freezing and skipping despite not being severely scratched. I first encountered this problem on my copy of Turning Red, then Encanto, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Spies in Disguise, Big Hero 6, Into the Spider-Verse, and the movie that started the current era of my history of physical media collecting, The Bad Guys. My Spies in Disguise Blu-ray disc was now completely unplayable, so I tossed it in the you-know-what, but I also did more than just that, if you know what I mean. I started to blame one of my old Sony Blu-ray players for causing this problem, so I gave it a one-way ticket to the garbage. To prevent the spread of this problem to my other Blu-rays, I am planning to get a new Blu-ray player to replace the one I got rid of. On September 15th, I went back to Chuck E. Cheese, where I celebrated my sister's friend's birthday. On October 5th, I went to school for my third homecoming dance. This time, it was Greek themed. That morning, I watched Hercules on Disney+. As usual, there was a game truck, but it wasn't the Ultimate Game Squad truck or the Level Up game truck. It was the West Coast game truck. It didn't function the same way Ultimate Game Squad did at Homecoming because each group of people that came into the truck had a timed session. I couldn't use any of the discs I brought with me to test on the consoles, and there weren't that many games that I would have liked to play, making my game truck experience disappointing. I ended up using only one of the discs I had, far less than the number of discs I brought with me to the dance. Nevertheless, I had a good time. Inside the truck, I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Cars 3 Driven to Win. Outside, I got a burger, fries, and mini pancakes. Like I did at Orangechella, I shared some of my experience with Javier through a video chat. Out of the 3 homecoming dances I went to, this was my weakest. My first homecoming was fun, but my second homecoming dance was even better, where 2 game trucks came and I played New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe in one of them. They should have just stuck with Ultimate Game Squad instead of bringing in the West Coast game truck. Up until the series finale on the 24th, I watched new episodes of Nickelodeon's Monster High. The episodes premiered at 5 p.m. for the Western feed and 2 p.m. for the Eastern feed. Since the Eastern feed of Nickelodeon only works on Global Choice, each episode premiered while I was at school, so I had to watch them on IPTV websites in my 4th period class. On October 12th, I went to a birthday party. It was at the same house as the party I went to on October 8th, 2022. I also got shaved ice from Makona Ice Truck. On October 19th, I saw The Wild Robot in theaters. It was my first time at Harkins since I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 in March. On the 26th, I went to a pumpkin patch. On November 1st, I watched Despicable Me 4 on Peacock. I wanted to see the movie in theaters, but I failed to due to personal reasons. I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters because this movie is just soulless. It's exactly what I expected from an Illumination movie. Zero surprises. The movie felt like a bunch of shorts stitched together. The characters have no development. Maxime Lemall was just awful with his weak plan and pathetic motivation. And the movie has the worst character designs in not just the entire franchise, but also in any Illumination movie in general, especially with Melora and the gas station attendant. Illumination just keeps showing their laziness movie after movie. I'd have to be living in a different dimension for them to get creative with their movies and tell a compelling story. I don't care how good the Mario movie sequel will be, I'm still not gonna care for Illumination. The only reason the Mario movie was as good as it was is that Nintendo was heavily involved in the production. Inside Out 2 is a million times better than Despicable Me 4, or should I say Despicable Mid 4. That movie has a much better story and the characters actually learn something. Thank God it made more money than Despicable Me 4. In 2015, Minions outgrossed the first Inside Out, an achievement that was not deserved because Minions is just lazy and empty, unlike Inside Out. Inside Out 2 reinforces what I love about Pixar, and Despicable Me 4 reinforces what I don't like about Illumination. From November 3rd to 11th, I watched Maya and the 3 for the 5th time. Watching the show every November has sort of become a tradition for me. The only time I didn't watch the show in November was when I watched it for the 2nd time in December 2021. On the 6th, my day of school got cut short. Due to an upcoming power outage, every student had to leave campus. Before I went home, I watched the first 10 minutes of Onward in my 2nd period class. On November 22nd, Skydance Animation's 2nd movie, Spellbound, came to Netflix. I watched it and it was good. My rating, 6.5 out of 10. The movie received mixed reviews and a score of 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, even lower than their first movie Lux 49%, showing that Skydance Animation is barely trying. They make expensive movies that are weak from a creative standpoint, so no wonder no companies want to release their movies in theaters. If the next movie ends up with the same poor reviews, then I refuse to watch it or any of their later movies from then on, and their only movie I would continue to rewatch would be Luck. If they want to replicate Disney's success, they should do it right. If I ever get an animation studio of my own, I wouldn't want it to be like Skydance Animation or especially Illumination or Warner Bros. Pictures Animation. My Thanksgiving break began on November 25th. I watched Inside Out 2 and Moana on the 25th and 26th, watched The Bad Guys and Wreck-It Ralph on the 27th, watched the 98 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on NBC, and celebrated Thanksgiving. Then on December 1st, I saw Moana 2 in theaters. I liked it, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first movie. It's not as good as Inside Out 2 either, but it is better than Wish. Like in my screening of Inside Out 2, there were many people in my screening of Moana 2. The movie got a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes. Disney Animation has been making low-tier movies since Strange World, and I don't see how they're gonna pick themselves back up. Strange World and Wish were both box office bombs, and while Moana 2 was unsurprisingly a box office success, that's not necessarily a good thing, as it could send a wrong message to Disney that they don't have to put effort into a movie that people will go see anyway. Their last truly great movie was Encanto. What happened? Why don't they make these kinds of movies anymore? If Zootopia 2 won't be a return to form for Disney Animation, I don't know what will be. I'm just glad that Pixar is still trying. I'm more optimistic about Pixar than Disney Animation. If you want to see a great movie, don't really count on Disney to make one anymore. My favorite song in Moana 2 is Can I Get a Chee-Hoo? On December 10th, I was getting ready for school when I found out that school had been cancelled due to another power outage caused by strong winds. While at home, I watched both of the Prep and Landing specials and Toy Story That Time Forgot. The Prep and Landing specials are great, but the second one is the best one. My winter break began on December 23rd. Overall, the first semester of my current school year was okay. Then, on the 27th, after failing to see the first movie and choosing to see another movie over the sequel, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in theaters. The movie is not only the best in the franchise, but it's also my new favorite movie based on a video game. I thought this would be the last movie in the franchise until Paramount announced that a fourth movie is in the works. It is scheduled to be released in 2027, and I'm excited for it. Throughout the year, I haven't been collecting physical media as frequently as last year and the year before. I collected 6 pieces of physical media in 2022 and 10 in 2023. This year, I collected 4, the last one being Despicable Me 2 on Blu-ray, which I got on December 29th. So overall, 2024 was an okay year for me. My rating? 6 out of 10. It's slightly better than 2022, but that's not saying much. The negatives? First, the worst day of the year is August 2nd. At the time, I still had yet to see Despicable Me 4 in theaters. Because of what happened that day, it killed my chances of seeing the movie, which I'm actually kind of glad that happened because, like I said previously, the movie wasn't good. Second, my summer break. It was underwhelming. My Las Vegas trip sucked, and I wanted to go to the beach and the ice cream place, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I was mostly at home fighting the summer heat, watching movies and a spy show that ultimately didn't stick with me. Plus, I only went to the movies once during my entire break, making it the first time since 2018 that this happened. Third, mother frickin' school. In the second semester of my 2023 to 2024 school year, my first period class was still a pain in the ass. It is one of the worst classes I've ever been in my life, not even exaggerating. I still had trouble in third period, and my fifth period teacher was strict towards me. On January 25th, something happened that made me done with her, and I blamed her for the reason school was such a hellhole for me. And I cannot forget number 4, the removal of cable from my house. Because of this, I'm now stuck with Global Choice Media, a poor man's YouTube TV. Fifth, Warner Bros. Actually, let's just leave it at 4. That company does stupid things every year. Before I end this video, I have one thing to say. I am absolutely not excited for summer 2025. I already know I'm not going to go to the beach because I haven't gone there since summer 2021. My only plans for next summer are to see Elio on my birthday and the Bad Guys 2 before I head to college. Even if summer 2025 ends up being better than 2024's, I'm not going to be excited for summer 2026 either. If only I could have another summer like 2018's. That's all I have to say. Have a happy new year, and I'll see you guys later.